command is correct. This is no. AWS version 2, the latest major version, not stable, recommended for general use. Okay. Let's have the chalo. Just log out. Give me a second. Okay, I have relaunched better the EC2 instance. Okay, so I have relaunched this EC2 instance, and of course we can do this AWS version if it is working. Yes, this is working, and then we can check this the list of users. I can write it AWS IAM list users. Okay, so this is the point I was trying to explain better from. This is Linux AMI, better the secure SSH is there, that is working. Inside that SSH, your AWS CLI is working. So command line interface is working. And you, since you are logged in from the demo instance one, if I'm running the AWS IAM list users, so I should be normally I should be getting a list of users, like demo one is the, or the any other users that I've created, it should list the users. But here you will see, if I'm going to list the user, it is saying unable to locate the credentials. You can configure credentials by running AWS configure. Okay, so let's try to run the AWS configure. Because this is the point that I was trying to explain. Now it is asking AWS access key ID, that is access key. Then it is asking key password, then region name, then output format. But this is the point where you need to be very careful. Do not try to enter any confidential information in this EC2 instance connect, because if any of the other users using the same the console, if they'll try to connect to the same EC2 instance, they might be able to get all this confidential information. Okay, so whenever you try to connect with EC2 AWS CLI, and if you want to list the users, so as of now this is not listing the users. Why so? Because it is not able to find any of the users directly. So it says that, okay, do the AWS config. I have done the AWS config. It is now asking me to enter the key ID and the key password. but I don't want to enter my key ID and password here. So what we can do is we can whatever IAM roles we have created, I can provide the role a permission to my EC2 instance to list the user. But am I making sense? Am I making sense? Are you able to understand this? What I'm trying to do is, मेरा जो बेटा यहाँ पे AWS का ये जो मैंने कंसोल खोला हुआ है CLI, मैंने यहाँ से लिस्ट ऑफ यूजर्स देखना चाहता हूँ. Directly I cannot do this because I've got this error message that you cannot view the list. They say that okay, use the AWS configure, enter this information and you'll be able to see. No doubt you can enter this, but you can see this, but this is not the good practice. Okay, so we should not enter the information here to see the list of users. Instead what we should do is, बेटा मेरे पास IAM के roles होंगे जो कि मैंने consider किए होंगे. So I'll go to my IAM roles. मैं उस roles में जाके उसको permission दूंगा. I'll say that okay, my IAM rules, every time I am going to open the demo instance one, it should list the users without entering this ID and password. Okay, without entering this ID and password. But for that, let's move back to our console. Okay, so I'll move to our console. So here EC2 instance, let's move to EC2. Let's move to instance IAM. I need to go to IAM. Okay, let me show you first of all instances. Here demo instance 1 is already running. Click on this. Hostname, instance type. The thing that I want to show you, it is present in the security. See, but at the moment I press under the security, you'll see here IAM role, this tab is empty. Okay, this tab is empty. So what I'm trying to do is, with the demo instance one, ये जो instance है, I'll try to attach an IAM role to this particular instance, so that next time when I want to open this, I will not be prompted with these particular information of AWS config. So I can directly jump onto the list of users. So I'll move back to this particular one. So here right, you'll see there is no IAM role. So I'll go to IAM now to attach the role. So we need to see if we have created the roles or not. Go to IAM. Go to IAM, and here you'll see IAM roles is there. We'll click on the roles. We don't have the role. Let's create one role, and this role will be AWS service. Keep it as it is. Now this role, where I want to use this, common use cases. Yes, of course I want to use it with my EC2 instances. Allows EC2 instances to call AWS services on your behalf. Okay, so on my behalf, IAM role is going to do the part. So click on the next. Now these are the lot of roles present. So you can say there's a 38 pages are there, like this roles are there. I'll write here IAM. So in IAM assess analyzer, see, I am going to choose this one, IAM read only assess. So select this particular role. I have selected IAM read only assess, and let's click on next. Let's give it a role name. आप इसको दे सकते हो बेटा, demo role. So description allows EC2 instances to call AWS services on your behalf. Keep it everything as it is. Now, see, this is a JSON document. Beta, you might have seen I have been talking to the JSON document. This is the JSON document. You will see few of the things. What is the version? Statement के अंदर effect, allow और effect deny. यहाँ पे दो ही options आ सकते हैं. Effect can either be allow or it can be deny. Action is that we are going to assume role, principal service, EC2, aws.com. So these are the few of the information that is by default there. IAM read only manage permission policy. If you want to add a tag, you can do, that's an optional. I don't want it, I can create the rule. Creating a rule is there. Okay, so you can see there's a role has already been created. This is the demo role. So demo role is created. Let's go back to our EC2 instances. Okay, before beta we move on to the role, one important point I have shown you using the Mac operating system जो मैंने terminal अपना खोला था, and I have already opened the EC2 instance connect using the web browser. There you can also practice. You can go to the edit inbound rules. Beta, if you are going to delete this SSH, if you're going to delete this SSH, you will not be able to execute those commands. Okay, so this is important. You need to have a proper setting in this case in order to get things right. Okay, let's move to the EC2. uh, Instances. So what we are trying to, okay, we are trying to include the IAM role here. Simply click on this demo instance, go to actions, uh, networking, no security, yes. But under actions, if you'll see the security here, you will find the modify IAM role for the instance, demo instance one. So click on modify IAM role. So in modify IAM role, you'll see choose IAM role, or you can create new IAM. Either you can create it from here, but still we have already created demo role. So click on this no IAM role. As of now, there was no role. This is the demo role that we have recently created. So click on this demo role and update IAM role. So successfully attached demo role to instance. This is the instance ID. Okay. Now when we'll click on this, you'll see under security tab. So beta here I have already attached the demo role. So demo role is attached here. So let me share the tab. So if we'll move to this tab, I hope it is visible. Now, if we'll move to this tab, now I have modified the permission. So if I'll AS configure list user, okay. If I'm going to do this AWS IAM list user, so in that case, now this times, better you will observe this time we have been listed with username is demo user one. We have got the information. Password is there, created date, user ID, path, and all the information we are getting here. We have not used the AWS configure. Even without using the AWS configure, we have not entered any of the password in these fields. I have just allowed the IAM roles permission is attached to one of my instances, and internally it is going to allow, and it is going to list all the users. Okay, AWS IAM list users. This is done. But are you able to get this, sir? Can we connect with you by pinging your IP? Uh, yes, but of course we can. Are you able to get this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I'm getting the positive answer. This is done. I'm going to stop with this. Let's have this exit. Logout is done. I'm going to move to the another tab. This one is closed. This is also closed. Okay. Mm, Apart from this, so this is done better. See, you can practice with this also. We have added this demo rule. You can remove this, go to IAM policies, you can remove this demo rule, and then we'll try to execute the same thing and you'll not be able to get the list of users. So vice versa, मैं आपको attach करके दिखाते जा रहा हूँ. You can the reverse of this, you keep on removing these roles and try to execute, you'll not be able to get that. Okay, so same thing is done. So let's move to our PPT and discuss few more, 2 3 theoretical points before we can jump on to the practical one. Uh, but I'll just try to practice this for 5 minutes. I'm going to take a break for 5 minutes. I'll be back. Just try to practice whatever we have discussed. Then we are going to continue the next topic after 5 minutes. Okay. Okay, so better let's get started. So we have seen pretty much whatever theoretical we have studied here, and which lectures? Okay, so to instance connect, we have seen how to connect the instance, and then EC2 instances purchasing options. Now instances, of course, these are we have been studying for the free of cost, the T2 micro instance that is free of cost. But in order to purchase this, okay, in order to purchase this, there's a few things that you need to keep in mind. On demand instances, that means as per the demand. So whatever your demands are, as per the demands, if you're going to purchase, so these are the short workload. So if you have a limited amount of work that you want to execute, you can go for the on demand instances. These are the predictable pricing, pay per second is there. So for whatever second you're going to use, apart from T2 micro or a T2 large, T2 extra large, or any such the instances that you're going to purchase, these are always the pay per second one. Okay, so as if you need 10 instances, you can go and purchase the 10 instances. And the second one is the reserved instances from 1 to 3 year instances that can be reserved for 1 year, for 2 year, and maximum up to 3 years. See, for the longer duration, if you're going to reserve an instance for the longer workload, so if you have a business that is going to be extended for 2 or 3 years, any project that is working for 2 to 3 years, so it is going to be, you can reserve the instances for that much long duration. Convertible reserved instances, that means long workload with the flexible instances, you can change the instances, you can release it, and you can acquire more instances. Okay, in the reserved instances, you have two further subcategories. Then comes the saving plans. So these are the different plans in which different price points are going to be there. How you are going to choose whichever is required for your optimal need, you can choose any of these plans. Saving plan is again from 1 to 3 years, commitment of a amount of usage, long workload. So if you are going to say that okay, you are going to use that much XYZ amount you need to use, so you can use as per your requirement of users, you can use the savings plan committed for a particular amount of uses for the long workload. This is also applicable for the long workload for 1 to 3 years. Spot instances, for the one particular spot, if you're going to book, this is for the short workloads. These are the cheap. These are the cheap, can lose instance, less reliable. बट अ स्पॉट इंस्टेंसेस में एक बहुत खास बात होती है that you give the maximum price. Suppose एक spot instances I want to book and the price is 1 rupee, and I'll say I want to hold this spot instance up to maximum of 5 rupee. Okay, now the moment anyone is ready to pay the price more than 5 rupee for the same particular spot, then in that case I need to release that spot. Okay, are you able to understand the spot instances? So this is for the short workloads. अगर आपका temporary कुछ time का काम है, then you can go for the short workloads. These are, of course, these are cheap, but can lose instances. But why can we lose instances? Because there are chances that you will be getting a message that you need to either extend it or you need to terminate the instance that you are using. So because of this, these are going to be less reliable. Dedicated hosts are there, dedicated instances are there. Book the entire physical server, बहुत बड़ा आपका काम है. You can get the entire physical server, control इंस्टेंस प्लेसमेंट. ये बेटा जो इंस्टेंस प्लेसमेंट है और ये आपका जो सर्वर्स हैं, वी आर गोइंग टू स्टडी दिस इन द अपकमिंग लेक्चर्स. No other customer will share your hardware dedicated instances if you are going to have it, if it is not in the shared basis. Otherwise, this savings plan, spot instances, on demand instances, all they're on the sharing basis. Okay, then capacity reservations is the reserve capacity for a specified A to Z for any duration. अगर आपके पास बहुत ज्यादा डेटा है एंड यू वांट टू रिजर्व सम कैपेसिटी, सपोज आपको 4 कोर्स चाहिए, मल्टीपल थ्रेड्स चाहिए, इफ यू नीड टू हैव अ मल्टीपल थ्रेड्स फॉर द एग्जीक्यूशन, यू कैन हैव all those things within the capacity of EC2. Okay, so you can decide on what particular instance purchasing option is suitable for you. So on demand, so basically whatever options are given on demand, then we have the reserved instances, then we have the saving plans, then we have the spot instances, dedicated host, and dedicated instances. So whatever we have studied in the very brief, everything related to these instances are given here. Okay, the first one is pay on demand. On demand का मतलब pay for what you use. ये हमने बहुत commonly, this is what we have studied very commonly while we were studying on the cloud computing. These are the things that are generally taught in the classes, that these are the very flexible, you can pay as you go, and these are the billing per second is होती है. So these are EC2 instances. These are one of the category of EC2 instances where you can pay as per your the usage. So, and it is applicable to the operating system like Windows and Linux. Billing per second after the first minute. Okay, so using of up to 59 seconds or 1 minute, it is included, and the moment you jump 1 minute and 1 second, 1 minute and 2 seconds, so billing is going to start. All other operating system billing per hour. Only on Windows and the Linux, billing per second is available, and for all other operating system, billing per hour is applicable. These can be very good questions if I need to frame the questions बेटा. ये बहुत अच्छे questions बन सकते हैं कि if I'll give you the Mac OS that tell me billing per second होगी या billing per hour होगी या billing per minute होगी, so that you need to find out. Has the highest cost but no upfront payment. Okay, so maybe it is per second you are going to pay as the services you are going to use. Similarly, the beta, it is like the mobile phone, you are going to pay for the incoming or the outgoing calls. Per second it is going to be charged, but these are the expensive one. These are the highest cost, these are the expensive one, but you need not to pay the upfront payment. That means before actually using it, you need not to pay anything. No long term commitment. For whatever duration you are going to use, per second के हिसाब से जितने second use करोगे उतने second आपका bill आएगा. I'll be showing you the billing dashboard as well. Okay, we'll be seeing the billing dashboard, how you can see how much bill you have generated. Then we are going to recommend it for the short term or the uninterrupted workloads where you cannot predict how the application will behave. Okay, where you are unsure that about your businesses, how it is going to behave. In that case, you can go for this particular EC2 on demand instances. But the next one is going to be okay. The next one is going to be EC2 reserved instances up to 70. Okay, if before using, if you're going to reserve it, so you can get up to 72% discount compared to on demand. Okay, whatever cost is generated based upon the on demand, you can get up to this much discount. You reserved in specific instance attribute, instance type, in which region you want to have, कितना टेनेंसी होगा, which operating system, which is the number of cores required, memory, networking bandwidth, storage, whatever you want to have, you can reserve a specific instance attributes. Okay, reservation period 1 year, this much discount, 3 years plus discount. So this is need not to say जितने ज्यादा टाइम के लिए आप रिजर्व करोगे, the more discount you will be getting. Payment option, no upfront, partial upfront, all upfront. So all three payment options are available. Either you can choose no upfront payment, you can start using it, or you can partially pay. Suppose you are using it for the 3 years, so partial payment you can do the upfront, rest payment you can do later on. So that payment option is also available. Then we have the reserved instances scope. So scope is these are limited to the particular area, regions, or the zonal reserve capacity is AZ. So A to Z reserved capacity is particular zone is there, recommended for the steady state growth application. So if your business is on a very steady state growth, it is not the abrupt growth or abrupt downfall. अगर ऐसा आपका business नहीं है, if it is steadily growing at a particular point, so you can think like this. You can buy and sell the reserved instances in the marketplace. Okay, convertible is जो instances होते हैं can change EC2 instance to instance family, OS, scope and tenancy. So whatever instance you have decided here, specific instance attribute you have decided here, but you can change the attributes here. Okay, so that falls under the convertible reserved instances. If you want to change the instance type, instance family, operating system, scope, tenancy, you can get this. But of course, it is going to provide a better feature, so it is going to have the limited discount. Okay, so if you can choose this as well. Similarly, the next one is going to be the reserved instances is done. Then we have the savings plan, get additional discounts for the long-term usage. But all these are theoretical. 72%. Commit a certain type of usage, $10 per hour के हिसाब से आप ले सकते हो. even if you have a more usage beyond EC2 saving plan built on price demand. Okay, so these are the few of the basics. Don't worry, I'll share this document on Saturday with you, whatever we have covered. Okay, and spot instances for batch job, data analytics, image processing, workloads flexible from start to end time. So for different categories of work, we have the different uh, type of instances. Okay, then capacity reservations, leave this. Which purchasing option is right for me? Beta, give it a read. एक बार पढ़ो इसको. Try to read it once. Then we'll start with the एक टॉपिक बेटा और डिस्कस करेंगे टुडे, इलास्टिक आईपी एड्रेसेस. आई हैव टोल्ड यू इन द स्टार्टिंग that every time we are going to shut down or you're going to stop an instance and then you're going to relaunch it, your public IP address is going to change. And if I don't want to change the public IP address, so in that case I'll be using the elastic IP addresses. We'll execute that part also, but before that, give it a read. बेटा नथिंग टू एक्सप्लेन इन दिस स्लाइड. ऐसा कुछ भी एक्सप्लेन करने के लिए नहीं है. But this example can make the concepts much clear if you can read this. On demand, coming and staying in the resort whenever we like, we pay the full price. That's on demand. Reserved, like planning ahead, and if we plan to stay for a long time, we may get a good discount. That is reserved instances. Saving plans, pay a certain amount per hour for certain period and stay in any room type. Okay, that is king, suite, villa, sea view, anyone. Spot instances, a hotel allows people to bid for the empty rooms. That's the spot. I was giving you an example of spot instance. Take a just $5 or ₹5 you can reserve. The hotel allows people to bid for the empty rooms, and the highest bidder keeps the room. You can get the kicked out of any time. So this is the one of the spot instances पे आपको बेटा question आ सकता है. Rest everything is easy. Spot instances पे there can be the good questions that can be framed. Okay. Then you have a dedicated host. We book an entire building for building of the resort. कोई एक particular building. Or capacity reservations, you book a room for the period with full price even you don't stay in it. So that's the point. Let's stop the screen share. Okay. After this, okay, एक slide शायद और है. हाँ बेटा कुछ slides और हैं. Let me share once again. There are 2-3 more slides. Please read it once again, and then we'll move to elastic IP addresses. Okay, so this we have done it. Now price comparison example. M for large, US East 1. Region is given, US East 1, and M for large is M for large GE. This is the instance type. On demand के लिए बेटा you need to pay highest amount, that is 0.10. Spot instances के लिए 0.038, 60% off. Reserve instance के लिए no upfront, that's the cost. Reserved and reserved savings plan 0.062, no upfront. This is the amount that you need to pay. Dedicated host on demand price. Dedicated host reservation 70% off. Capacity reservation on demand price. So this is how the price is. And by the way, this is not fixed, but this with the passage of time, Amazon keeps on updating these prices. So this keeps on changing. Okay. Spot instances can get a discount of 90% compared to on demand. Define maximum spot price and get the instance. जितना आप highest bid करोगे, you will get the instance, while current spot price is less than the max. जब तक आपकी current spot price is max से कम है, you can use this. whenever it exceeds the maximum one, you need to release that particular spot. Okay, so ye humne we have already studied this. Then uh, EC2 spot instances pricing, user defined. So you can imagine this user defined max price is 0.05 से भी कम का जो prices are. This goes in US East 1, East 1B, East 1C, 1D. These are the pricing or the bidding that people have aptly done for the Linux or instance type M4 large data range for 3 months. Okay, this is just an examples are given. Spot fleets, EC2 summary section. So this is the for the instances. This is the summary section. Whatever we have discussed up to now, EC2 instance, AMI, OS plus instance side CPU, RAM, storage, security groups, EC2 user data. These are the important points in this. Security groups like firewall attached to the EC2 instances. We have seen that. कौन सा security group attach किया हमने? Launch Wizard. Okay, Launch Wizard 1. EC2 user data scripted launch at the first start of the instance. User data means the bootstrapping, the Linux code that I've written in the user data with the help of which we are getting the public IP address and the private IP address. That's a script launched at the first start of the instance. तो वो भी हमने कर लिया. SSH start a terminal into your EC2 instances. Okay, using the port 22 for SSH. So you can use it from the Mac OS, from Linux OS, from the Windows OS, or you can directly do from EC2 instance connect using the web based. If none other is working, if you're facing any issues, you can use the directly that one. EC2 instance role link to IAM roles. ये भी बेटा हमने कर लिया. EC2 का जो रोल है instance role link to IAM roles. Then purchasing options, on demand, spot reservations. ये theoretical था, so we have seen this option as well. Okay, so this much is done. Now the next one is public versus private IP addresses. So this is private IP address. This is 16 digit 4444. So 16 digit IP address hota aapka beta IPv4, and this is IPv6 address, which is your hexadecimal. Majority of the cases uses AWS is going to use IPv4 addresses, but in some cases it can use IPv6 addresses also. So theoretically given, we'll be using only IPv4 addresses. Still most commonly used format online. V6 a newer solve problem with the Internet of Things, but we are not going to use this IPv6. And V4 allows 3.7 billion combinations. Okay, 3.7 billion combinations can be framed. Kaise? 0 to 255, 0 to 255, and when you multiply all of them, so you'll get this particular as an answer. ये थोड़ा सा एक्सप्लेन करना पड़ेगा. We need to get this. Okay, let's stop this one. This is too much of theoretical. Let's come to the practical part. एक इलास्टिक वो करके देखते हैं. Instances. क्या करना था? Okay, so let's connect. Yes. So this is working because of, so we have got this one. This is working because of SSH port number 22. And let's move to instances. And within this instance, let's suppose I going to stop this instance. Okay, I'm going to stop this instance. IP address is going to change this time. 13,127. Should I use the command? Mm. Just give me a second, beta. I'm going to open ये इस पे नहीं होगा, so will not be able to do it on the EC2 instance connect because this automatic. अच्छा हो भी सकता है, चलो let's try to refresh this one. So I have stopped the instance. Let's try to again. So we cannot connect it. So instance is stopped. We cannot connect it. नहीं समझ नहीं आएगा इसमें से. दोबारा I need to open the terminal AWS का. I need to open this terminal. Let me open this. Okay. So let's do demo keeper hash पे. Yes. Let's try it. SH I demo keeper. Let's see. To user at the rate IP address. At the rate IP address. I'm going to get this IP. I've stopped the terminal. I'm going to again start the instance. Give me a second. Instance is starting. I need to get the public IP4 address from the instance. Okay, so this is running. I have got the IP 1327. So this is the IP address. Let's paste it here. So this is established EC2. Okay, so this is done. So कहाँ गया? This is the instance, but I will see this instance is running, and I have got this IP address 13.127.88.202. Okay, this instance is running, so we have got this as a output. Now imagine I'm going to stop this one. Let's stop the instance. Okay, so if I'm going to stop the particular instance, so instance is stopping. Okay, this is stopped, and this is stopped, and let's try to execute the same command again. So you'll see connection to is closed. Why connection is closed? Because we have closed the we have closed this EC2 instance, so connection is closed. Okay, now connection closed, and next time if I'm going to beta start an instance. Now let's suppose if I'm going to again start an instance, so my address is going to change here. Public IP address is going to change here. Now will I be able to get this answer at 13.127.88.202? So I have got a new IP address. So I have got this IP address, and if I'll execute this one, so this is. So now if this is going to be in an IP address that was earlier I was having, so this is not going to work. Okay. So what I can do is I can move to, instead of this, let me change the new IP address. Now if I'm going to copy this 3, and if I'll paste it here now, so it is working absolutely fine. So that means as every time the conclusion that I want to, why I have done this, the conclusion is every time you stop an instance, this is not going to work. Every time you start an instance, you need to change the IP address as I have done there. So this is one of the problem that we are facing. So here the IP address has changed. Earlier it was 13 dot something, now it is 3 dot this one. So in order to resolve this, what we can do is we can go to the, if we don't want to change this public IP address, we can go to the this network and security. In that you can see this option elastic IP addresses. Click on elastic IP addresses, and again I'm better giving you the disclaimer. This is, as you are going to use this may incur some of the charges. ये free of cost का service नहीं है, but still for the practice session we are going to allocate this, allocate the elastic IP addresses. So Amazon pool of IP4 addresses कहाँ से allocate होगा? From the Amazon pool of IP4 addresses. ठीक है. Create Excel data, no need to do anything. So add tags option, no need to allocate. Let's click on directly allocate. Okay, so now you will see, but a elastic IP address, there is allocated IP4 address. This is the elastic address. This is the elastic address, and this will not change. And here you'll see the allocated IP address, public IP. This is the public IP that is allocated. Allocation ID is there. Okay, association ID is not present here because this elastic IP address I have not associated with any of the instance. I'll be associated with the instance. Address pool कहाँ से बेटा इसमें fetch किया हुआ है? From Amazon. So let's try to associate this. So go to the actions, and here you will find an option associate elastic IP address. Click on associate elastic. Beta, is my screen visible? ऐसे तो नहीं बोली जा रहा. Are you able to see the
Yes, sir.
screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
हाँ बेटा, just give me a second. Let's complete this, उसके बाद मैं दोबारा रिपीट कर देता हूँ. So association of elastic IP address. So resource type you can allocate to the network interface or instance. बेटा ये आपको अभी समझ नहीं आएगा इंस्टेंस एंड नेटवर्क इंटरफेस. क्यों समझ नहीं आएगा? क्योंकि पीपीटी में मैंने जहां पे स्टॉप किया हुआ है, सो दैट इज दिस इज द पार्ट. सो दिस इज द इंटरनेट गेटवे. ये आपके पास बेटा नेटवर्क है, और दिस इज द पब्लिक आईपी एड्रेस. दिस इज द पब्लिक आईपी एड्रेस. विल डिस्कस दिस इन द टुमारोज क्लास. ठीक है. तो नेटवर्क यहाँ पे द नेटवर्क इंटरफेस एंड इंस्टेंसेस. अभी के लिए आप ये समझ लो कि वी आर गोइंग टू चूज द इंस्टेंस. ओके. If your associated elastic IP address is instance that has an elastic IP address associated this, previously address will be disassociated. ठीक है, कि अगर previous से associated है तो वो disassociate हो जाएगा. Instance लिख दिया. Now choose the instance. So एक ही instance है बेटा. This is the instance ID. The name is demo instance 1. This is the only running instance. I'm going to choose this instance, or I can provide the private IP. So I'm not going to do this. Only the given instance is there. This is going to associate. Click on associate. Okay. Now when you'll click on associate, you will see the association ID is there. So this is ID generated with the help of the instance that we have created. Okay. Ritu, you was asking how to create this. Beta, simply move on to the network and the security part. Under network and security, click on the elastic IPs, and you can allocate the elastic IP from here. Okay. And once the elastic IP is allocated, click on the ID and just associate it. You need to click on associate elastic IP address, and you will be able to do. Now this is done. And after this part, let's move on to the instances. Let me open in a new tab. I'm going to click on instances. Okay. Let's click on the instance. Here you will see, but the instance, do you have observed the change here? The IP address has changed. So this is 3 111 120 227. 3 111 120 227. This is the elastic IP address that is being allocated to my instance. Okay. Now this is absolutely working fine. So this is working. We have seen it already. Last time, beta, what happened is last time when I was shutting it down. Now again, I'm going to stop this. Again, I'm going to stop this. Okay. Now you will observe the moment it is going to stop, but the IP address, public IP address will remain as it is. This is not going to disappear. Why? Because this is the elastic IP address. So this is again stopping. Let it stop. Yes. Instances stopped, but you can see the elastic IP address is still present here. Okay. So if I move on to this one, this is not working. Hello. ठीक है. So if I'll do this, and this is the previous IP address, this is not going to work. This time, beta, I'm going to upload the elastic IP address and we'll see if it is working. Of course, this will not work because the instance is in a stopped mode, but the moment I am going to make it live again, this will work. Okay. So it has not worked. You can see nothing is there. So if I'm going to put it back instant start instance, we're going to again start this instance. This is pending. Okay, this is running now. And if I'll do this, yes, see, but with elastic IP, we have given the elastic 3 triple 120 and 227. I have been able to reach at the SSH, जो secure shell है, Amazon Linux 2 AMI. I'm able to reach that. I have not changed the IP address. This is going to be constant now. Okay. So this is just for the practice purpose. Now I'm going to move back to the elastic IPs, and after beta, when you practice this, go to the actions. Now disassociate elastic IP address. Click on this. Disassociate. I'm going to disassociate now. And when this is done, okay, this is done. That much is required. And if I'll move back to the EC2 now, EC instances. But when I'm going to remove this, you will observe IP address is going to change again. So IP address. But do you observe IP address has changed once again? So this is again your public IPv4 address. This is not your elastic address. This is not your elastic IP address. This is the normal IP address that is being allocated. And you stop the instance, reconnect it. Again, this is going to change because I have not associated any elastic IP address with this one. But I hope you are able to understand this point. Elastic IP address समझ आ गया?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let me stop the screen share. Okay, but if anyone is having any query or any doubt, you can ask me. So this is all for our today's session. Don't leave the class until I say so. Let me get. What about the Windows commands for this SSH? चलो बेटा ये भी कर लेंगे. Tomorrow we'll do for the Windows. I feel majority of you are using the Windows operating system, so I'll show you how you can execute this with the help of the Windows as well. We'll do this as well, don't worry. Otherwise, all this is not required. So these are the multiple ways to reach at the same secure shell. 90% of the cases will be doing with the help of EC2 Instance Connect using the browser. But just for the educational purposes, tomorrow we'll do with the Windows as well. Okay. I'll try to arrange a Windows laptop
Sir,
because I need to have a
mine
Windows.
run with same command.
Sorry, Vishal?
Sir, mine run with same command as you mentioned the command now in Linux of in command promote. Same
बेटा
I used
are you having
और मेरा run हो
विंडोज
गया.
सिस्टम? विंडोज है आपके
Yes
पास?
sir.
कौन सी
Yes sir.
विंडोज है?
Sir, Windows 10 है.
विंडोज 10. एंड रितु बेटा आपके पास कौन से विंडोज है? 10. ओके.
10 में तो नहीं हो रहा है सर.
नहीं हो रहा है. चलो कोई बात नहीं, कोई बात नहीं. We'll do it once again, so that's not an issue. We'll do it. And apart from that, if you have any other doubt, you can ask me. Don't leave the session, beta. Let me get the attendance first. Then you can leave the session. Give me a second. Okay. So this is all beta for our today's session. So I have taken the attendance. Thank you all for joining the class, and tomorrow we'll